Are you still using the old conference playbook? Are you ahead of the game or falling behind? That is what we're going to talk about in this video. Events are evolving, and so are attendee expectations. They don't just want to sit and listen anymore because we can get content from the comfort of our couches in our own homes. Attendees want to interact, they want to contribute, and walk away transformed. The best conference organizers are shaking things up and really bringing in more variety and more interaction. So today I want to talk about 7 formats that are gaining traction across the country when it comes to focusing on not just content, but connection and community. And number 7 is my personal favorite. So stick around to the end. Let's go! Kaleidoscope Connections. It sounds cool, and it is. We call it Kaleidoscope Connections because, like a kaleidoscope, it's constantly shifting, offering fresh angles and new combinations. Instead of having a speaker on stage for 60 minutes, have like 4 to 6 expert-led micro sessions around the room. And so what you can do is have groups rotate every 15 or so minutes. For example, maybe pod 1 is how AI is transforming our business. Pod 2 is goal setting. Pod 3 is growth mindset and leading with empathy. And so on and so forth. It's fast-paced, it's fresh, it's tangible, and because attention spans are short and learning styles are diverse, you gotta give people more than just one way in. Game show sessions. Education meets entertainment. Take your breakout room and turn it into a live game show. So think like Jeopardy or Family Feud or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Just make a theme to your content. For 200 points, what's the fastest way to lose attendees during a breakout? Me! Monotone speaker and bad mic? Correct! It's competitive, it's fun, and people actually retain the information because they're laughing and they're learning, and they'll probably be quoting it at the bar later. Pro tip, schedule this session during the post-lunch slump, the prime time for cognitive fatigue. Blood sugar dips, energy crashes, and even the best speaker can lose the room. This game is going to bring energy back, and if people roll in late from lunch, it's not a big deal because they didn't miss any critical content from your keynote speaker. They just walked into arguably the most fun part of the day. Empty chair panels. This one's kind of like a love it or hate it, but you've got your usual panel of experts, except in that expert panel, you leave one seat open. At any point in time, an audience member can step up and take the seat. Because, interestingly enough, the wisdom in the room actually lies on the other side of the stage. 300, 500, 1,000 brains versus 1. And that empty chair becomes the hottest seat in the room. And it can be used to share a story or offer a fresh perspective or spark a friendly debate. And so it kind of is like, the idea here is blurring the lines between the speaker and the attendee, making everyone feel seen and valued and heard. Hackathons. When you have 1,000 brilliant minds in one room, do you really just want them taking notes? Probably not. So hackathons flip the script. You're breaking attendees into teams and assigning a real challenge and then giving them space to brainstorm and strategize and ideate. Think like whiteboards and Post-its and big posters all over the room. Let me give you a few examples. Nonprofit focused. How might we engage first-time volunteers in a way that makes them feel like legacy supporters? Early education focused. Build a classroom environment on a $100 budget that supports emotional regulation and creative learning. Entrepreneur focused. What company would have to come along to completely put us out of business, and why? This format fuels creativity, strengthens connection, and leads to solutions your attendees can actually use outside of your event. Walking sessions. Sometimes the most transformative moments at an event don't happen on the stage. They happen right outside, in the lobby, or over coffee, or over lunch, or on a trail, or in a quiet space right outside the venue. And so these are called walking sessions, which is just a chance to step away from the noise and to connect with people, not just to network, but to move your body while also moving a conversation forward. So you pair up attendees or small groups of 3 to 4, and you give them a prompt. And you send them on a short walk with no slides, no noise, and it becomes easier to ask more important questions like, why does this work matter to you? What's been your favorite part of the conference so far? Hey, what's one idea that you're taking away from this thing that you're actually going to implement? And then when you bring the group back, if you have a powerful facilitator, they might say from the main stage, we hope you found these conversations meaningful. Would anyone like to raise their hand and maybe share one takeaway or insight from your walk? And if you want to take it one step further than that, you ask those intentional questions that naturally lead to the kind of responses that you'd want others to hear. And then you capture them on camera for your post-event content. Deep connection does not require perfect words, just presence, curiosity, and sometimes a little bit of movement. Purpose activation. Most events focus on what people get. This format, on the contrary, is about what people can give. So you carve out 30 to 45 minutes in your agenda for a purpose activity, which is a hands-on, heart-centered moment that connects attendees to something bigger than themselves. At one of our recent conferences, attendees packed brightly colored boxes filled with toys. Everybody in this room right now that's a part of the content team also participated, that are filming. Like, we were all doing this alongside of the entire attendee base. We were packing boxes filled with toys and art supplies and handwritten notes for children in hospitals. And there were tears and there was laughter. And it ended up being the perfect way to close out this conference experience. It was a 2.5-day conference, and this is the way that we ended it. And there were lots of hugs and high fives. And then the company ended it with, we don't just talk about impact, we do it. Pitch showcase. This one is my personal favorite, and I've seen it done incredibly well. At a recent event that I facilitated, we brought together top fundraising leaders from a national cancer organization. And on day one of this workshop, we introduced a challenge, which was pitch a new way to drive deeper engagement at your nonprofit gala. Something that you think would be so compelling that it could be rolled out and widely adopted across the nation. And they had the evening to reflect and collaborate and to prepare their pitches. Then the next day, they delivered their ideas live to the entire executive team. And the room literally lit up with bold thinking and cross-team collaboration. This format could be delivered in 2 different ways depending on your audience and your intention. You could have a public pitch, which is perfect when the focus is on learning and community and building and crowd feedback. Really good for sparking ideas, building shared ownership amongst the entire company or partnership or stakeholder base, and creating momentum across the entire ecosystem. A private pitch, like the one that I've just described, is more for an intimate gathering, ideally for early stages or sensitive ideas, IP, intellectual property, fundraising strategies, or vulnerable storytelling, because it creates a safer space for honest feedback and real conversations. My mentor, John Berghoff, always says that people give energy towards the things they get to create. So I think the most important thing here with this idea is letting people create alongside of you. Hopefully this gives you some insider insight on what is happening and trending across the country. Be an early adopter, take one or all of these ideas and bring them into your next conference, workshop, or summit. I hope this was helpful. And if you're ready to bring one of these formats to life, you know who to call.